My sister gave me her new phone number the other day, but I'm pretty lazy, so I just keep using the old number instead. The woman who has that number now is my new sister, and we talk every day. Luckily, they're both named Stephanie, so I didn't even have to change her contact information in my phone. Sometimes I think that my old sister is still trying to reach me, but I don't answer calls from numbers I don't recognize. But anyway, while I was on the phone with Stephanie, she said that she just started doing yoga and she feels better than ever. She said that I should try doing it too. And I never used to take advice from my old sister, but this time I thought, new sister, new me. But when I tried yoga, I pulled a muscle in my back. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life. So I tried to call my doctor, but the number must have changed because some guy answered the phone instead. I said, can you recommend something for excruciating back pain? And he said, I think you have the wrong number. And I said, listen, you're my new doctor now and I need your help. What can I do to make my back stop hurting? And he said, I don't know. Have you tried doing yoga? I was so desperate for relief, so I tried it again. And this time, the pain went away instantly. It was incredible. So I called my new sister. I said, guess what? I did yoga. And she said, that's great. How do you feel? So I thought about it. And I said, actually, I feel about the same as before. What a waste of time.
would you say if I asked you a rhetorical question, hypothetically? And what is the meaning of life? Tell me yes or no. That was a trick question. Or was it? I don't know. I don't have all the answers now. How could I when I don't even have all the questions? Ironically, I complain that I do not get sarcasm. Isn't that just great? I want to be a positive person, but that seems so unlikely. Sometimes I think my mind is playing tricks on me, therefore I'm always right. People say that happiness is a choice, but I can never make up my mind. And I know I'm getting older, 'cause now I'm old enough to remember being younger. And now I reminisce about nostalgia, 'cause it used to be better. What if the good old days never happened, but we just don't remember? The future's running late. This trip down memory lane is taking us forever. I always hear people say that money can't buy happiness. But what if I paid them off? Maybe then they'd finally shut up about it.
to have a plant. It was a rescue. When I got it, it was all sunburned. But now it's dead. It actually took its own life. I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't even home. I came back from a 3-week vacation, and I found it lying there lifeless. I might have been able to save it, but I spent a lot of time looking up how to perform CPR on a plant. Apparently, you're just supposed to breathe on them. I did suspect foul play at first. Then I found the suicide note. It said, "You never take me anywhere nice anymore. I wanted to be a dancer." Then I thought about the irony of a plant suicide note being written on paper. Then I wondered how a plant could even write anything without hands. So I turned the note over, and on the back it said, "Dictated but not read." So I buried my dead plant in a pet cemetery. A few weeks later, it rose from the grave. I was so terrified I immediately killed it before it had a chance to kill me first. So now I have a fake plant. But you can't even tell, it looks very realistic. All the leaves are wilted and brown. My friend came over the other day. He said, "Your plant looks dead." I said, "Thanks." It was really expensive.
Three, two, one. We're live. Hey, welcome to Chirping Bird Comedy. Hey, it's a good one. This is a good one. It's a Monday night in the middle of the summer. You guys you got, I know a lot of people were missing during White Guys for Kamala that overlapped directly with our show. It was such a pity that we couldn't go and join that night. So I want to thank you all for rejoining us. That went to the 10,000 person Zoom is what I heard that was. It was 10,000 people. Does a better camera mean an upgraded phone? Please change yours. Okay, yeah, I'll change yours. What do you want to change it to? I'm changing people's names. I have that power to do that. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for joining us. This is our first time doing this on YouTube. If you're watching us on Twitch, thanks for joining us again. You could always join us right here on the Zoom itself, and then you could interact with me, and I can see inside your house. That is the number one reason why I continue to host the show, is I like seeing what people's houses look like. I'm kind of like an alien, like Third Rock from the Sun, and I'm like, is it normal to have sombreros on my wall? Because I do. I don't think it is. I have not seen any other sombreros on someone's wall during the time of Zoom. I should probably take it down. I think if people see them from the street, they might think I'm racially appropriating it, which I probably am not. The only person that can be seen is the person spotlit. Okay, I'm going to change. That's what you want your name changed to? I'm not going to say the name you're changing from, because that would ruin the whole reason for doing it. So you just want to be renamed Walter? It's going to be confusing to anyone that knows you by your other name. There we go. We got it. You are now Walter. I could change names. I will also be watching on the Twitch. I will, Judah Friedlander cannot make it tonight. I want everybody to know that right off the bat. He's unable to make it. He's actually negotiating with Iran and Joe Biden right now. It's a really intense talk. Only he can solve it. He's going to bring us off of the brink of World War III. I think by deflecting blame to Canada. That's usually his diplomacy, from what I've been able to see, is usually we just throw Canada under the bus. But if you're watching from Canada, it was nice knowing you. We're just going to all calibrate our missiles on Canada first. No, we won't do that. We like Canada. It's probably like Canada. I'm probably doing this rant unintentionally on like a Canadian national holiday. I'm probably just doing like the worst possible thing for Canada. But no, if you do want to ask questions, you can still ask them. I'll field them. Heck, other comedians might field them. Pratik Srivastava is going to be here later. He likes questions. I know people have a lot of questions about his beard. People have so many questions. I have questions about his beard. I don't have the guts to even ask him, and he's one of my good friends. So there you go. Each province has its own holiday in Canada. Come on. I don't even know. Yep. How many provinces are there in Canada?
10, 12.
We got 50 states. They could eat it. We got 50 states. Tell me someone else. I couldn't. There's not a single person here, even if they're Canadian, that can name all 10 provinces. I guarantee you that. I've been having a fun time watching the stock market crashing today. I don't know if anyone has been doing that. Has anyone been enjoying watching the stock market crash? But housing prices continue to go up even throughout the day. That is how bad it is. If you're trying to buy a house and you're a millennial like myself, I'm having a really, really hard time with it. My patented move of going to an open house when you're hungover, which is what you do, because then you're a little bit more relaxed. You might make a decision a little faster, and then getting gut rot, and then going to the bathroom at the open house, and then after you go to the bathroom, finding out the toilet wasn't hooked up to any sort of plumbing at all, and then you just basically shed into a model toilet, and then you have to leave, and then you have to run out the front door before anyone does anything, and that house sold the next day. That house still sold the next day with shit in the toilet. I wanted to do it this weekend. There was someone else doing that. I went to an open house and I wanted the house, but there was some girl ran into the bathroom and totally trashed the place. I was like, this is her house now. She got it. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to, you know what? I could have one-upped. I could have upper decked. That's the one thing you do. That's the gift of a dirty toilet that keeps giving a dirty toilet. I don't know if you know what that is. Does anyone know what upper decking is? I feel like I'm teaching a lot tonight. Question mark, do you know what upper decking is?
No, I do not.
Okay. It's when you go to the bathroom in the water receptacle above the toilet, So it just keeps flushing dirty water into the toilet until you clean out the receptacle. It's a really good prank to do at parties of people that you don't like, or at an open house of a house you want to buy. Then you could just be like, knock off 20,000. That plumbing's terrible, terrible plumbing. Knock off 20 grand.
Not coming to any of my parties, Mark.
I'm not invited. I got disinvited from every party from anyone that's watching or attending this Zoom. That's the sad, sad truth. Jay, I could still go to the bathroom at your house, right? Mike Eckert is coming to Chicago next weekend. I'm trying to figure out how to hang out with Mike Eckert. I know where he's going to be. I know he's going to be at Guaranteed Rate Field over on the south side watching the Sox. I'm going to I won't go to the game because I'm protesting the White Sox until they sell the team, but I will stand outside and I'll shake your hand and then I'll just leave. I'll just be like, nice to meet you, Mike. Have a fun time at the game. White Sox games are absolutely insane. If people don't know Chicago very much, the Cubs are like, the historical stadium, bring your kids, and the White Sox are go beat up the Kansas City third base coach with your dad. That happened at a White Sox game, if no one remembers. A guy with a mullet and his dad charged the field and beat up the third base coach of the other team for no reason. That's just the kind of stuff that'll happen, Mike. So be careful if you're in the bleachers. Be very careful. They got all you can eat and all you can drink packages, and they definitely try to make break even on those. That's what the fans try to do. They try to be. The White Sox should be paying people to attend. I think so too. I think they should. I don't think they will. We did get free White Sox tickets growing up for like reading like 5 books in the summer.
Yeah.
You read like 5 books, and we get a White Sox ticket, and that's why I became a White Sox fan. Which is also making me question why I became a White Sox fan, that they were giving away tickets just to make their fans more literate. They wanted to make sure these people could actually read the fucking instructions in the bathrooms and in the stadium. So they're like, maybe read a book. Maybe read a book. Okay. I don't know. Desiree Walsh is going to be here in a little bit. She's going to be here tonight too. So I'm super happy to have her on. She hasn't been on in a while. Like I said, Pratik's going to be rounding out the end of the night. He's going to be doing a headlining set. He's going to be featuring all of his funny bits that he's got, all of his beard stories. Canada's weird. Everyone moves out. Everyone moves out on July 1st. Hold on, we got to go into this, Walter. Everyone moves out of the country. Everyone leaves Canada on July 1st. Where do they go, Walter? What is going on? Walter's on mute, but I'll take the lagging typing at this point. That's strange. Everyone moves out on July 1st. Is
like in Quebec has like move out day, like July 1st. Like all like the I guess rental agreements into July 1st in Quebec.
Oh, interesting. That's actually kind of fun. It's just like musical houses, and if you're the last one to move in and out, you just end up homeless. Everyone's just like hermit crabbing throughout the cities. Montreal's just everyone's just lugging their shit on their back for a day looking for a new house. That's how I imagine it. That sounds like a very Canadian way to do things. I'm having a blast. I am. My real estate agent has called me twice during this. I almost took a phone call during this, but I didn't want to explain that it would be streamed on Twitch and Zoom and YouTube, and it would maybe contain sensitive financial matters. So I'm not going to take a phone call here. The only phone calls I will take during the show is from Pratik. I will take a phone call from Pratik during the show because he knows what he's getting into. If he calls me on Monday night after 7 o'clock, he knows he's on air. Anyone else? I should take more prank phone calls. Okay. Well, I am going to get this started. I am going to bring over first comedian. I'm super happy to have him back. I don't know if he's got anything to plug. I'll leave that up to him. He could do that himself. But I do want to say, I really like that Chris, I would say, is a late joiner to the Zoom comedy and to the show, but instantly became a friend of the show and a friend of the room. And I really get to enjoy seeing his comedy since he moved away to Pittsburgh and moved away from Chicago. It's great to be able to see some. That's part of what I like about Zoom too, is when Pratik was in LA, I got to see his set still, and it's great to be able to connect with comedians. So let's keep the connection going. Give a warm Chirping Bird welcome to Chris Scrivo.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I do. I love this show. Right now, you don't know if I'm sitting in my dining room, because this UFO behind me, or I could be pooping right now. So yeah, which is probably, if you hear me poop, it's probably a lot funnier than my actual jokes. But Yeah, man. I did move home. I moved back to Pennsylvania, and I live with my blue collar family. I rage quit my job. Now my parents are my landlords, so that's kind of fun. You could tell I come from like a union family. I wear all this Carhartt. I usually wear a hat. I kind of look like a way more fat, way less stroked out John Fetterman. If you have any idea who that is, that's where I think we all buy our clothes at Tractor Supply here. So it's pretty good. I actually live like right outside of Pittsburgh, like kind of on the edge in like a small town that is like half what just imagine looks like the most dangerous neighborhood in the world. And the other half is like farmland. We have ghetto deer in my neighborhood, which is pretty fun. It's pretty unique. Chicago, we had coyotes, but I'm actually more afraid of the deer here because they will tear you up with their horns. But yeah, so I'm living with my family again. It's weird. I have a blue collar dad, like a working class dad. The people in the show right now, I don't know if you can make some noise or clap or raise a hand emoji. I'm doing crowd work in Zoom. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Number one rule. Mark's like, don't do crowd work or read the chat. I'm like, okay, guys, here's a.
I was like, don't read the chat. Jin is not here though, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just waiting for that guy to put penis in there a whole bunch. All right. That's my favorite. I'll be in the middle of my set. And I just start reading like, oh, really? Interesting. But yeah, no. So you guys have, I know there's a lot of Chicago people. Sorry, my dogs are going to heckle me now because there's a dog outside. If you hear it, hey, come here. All right, cool. I'm going to have to hold him while I do this. So I can't talk with one hand. But yeah, so anybody have like
Chris, when you lean back, it just became UFO. Like you disappeared. It looked like you fucking got just zapped into that thing. It was
I got abducted. I don't have to. Dude, my laptop's from like 2017. It may as well be like an antique at this point. So yeah, it's probably worth less than the $100 microphone I have. But yeah, so I have a blue collar family. I have a blue collar, like a tough guy mechanic dad, like airplane mechanic dad. Anybody have like a blue collar kind of dad you grew up with here? Anybody like any kind of like mechanic or factory? Anybody? Any of the Chicago people? You guys have a white collar dad? Anybody have like white collar dads? Like a dad that used to kiss you on the lips, dropping you off in middle school? Anybody have one of them? That was always weird. You guys ever see that? That always weirded me out, man. They were always I went to a school that had like both like working class and like rich kids, man. Like these predator dads. Crazy. They predator dads here. It used to weird me out, but my dad was such a hard ass, and I know he loves me, but he never said it, never hugged me. I'd see them getting dropped off in their Lexuses and BMWs, getting out, and they just get smooched right on the mouth. Some little boy, little 11-year-old kissed by his dad, and I'd be jealous. I'd be like, man, I'd be in my dad's Ford Ranger, ready to get out and go into band class. I'd look at him like, come on, slip me some tongue, daddy. Like, stick your tongue me down, daddy. That's it's weird. My dad, he's never, like I said, I do know that he does love it. Somebody said, bring on the penises. Let's go, question mark. I see you there. And then there's the Jinda guy. Yeah, so.
Jinda's here now, man.
There he is. You summoned him. That's great, dude. But anyways. Yeah, word of the day, word of every Monday, penis in this chat. So that's pretty cool. Talking about penis, my father, so my dad, he never like said that. Like my brother and sister got kind of emotional about it one time. They're like, why didn't you ever like hug us and, tell us you love us or anything like that? And my dad said, I want you guys to grow up to be strong, successful, good adults. And look how good you're doing. It's like, yeah, I went to college, but now I'm doing a Zoom comedy show on a Monday and I'm going to go deliver hamburgers till 4 a.m. after. So wonderful, wonderful parenting. He didn't even give me a hug when I went away to college, right? Like my mom did. She gave me a big hug, and we're in the house and she's crying like, I'm gonna miss you so much. And my dad looked at me from across the living room and gave me one of these like a one up head nod, right? Like my dad was like looking at me like a guy he wants to fight across the street. It was weird. And like, what's even the worst thing? Like, it's not that he's like, super weird. My mom even asked him, it's like, why won't you just hug your child? Like, go hug your son. My dad, this is a direct quote from my father. Just imagine like a 5'6" Italian guy with a pot belly and a Snap-on Tool shirt just going, why don't you hug your son? And my dad goes, fuck no, Janice, quote unquote. He's a grown ass man, right? Sounds homophobic. It's not homophobic. at all. He loves my brother. My dad just doesn't like me. I think my dad is Chris phobic. I think that's part of the problem. And what's the worst thing that could have happened? Even if somebody saw him on the porch, even if he was a big homophobe, we're on the porch. We're in his house, we're on the porch. One of those like other tough guy, like fellow mechanic guys, come past and they're like F-150 or whatever, and they just see him going in, giving me a hug. What are they gonna do? Be like, you see that Sam on his porch hugging his child? What a freaking queer that guy is. You know what I'm saying? Okay, didn't laugh. You guys are homophobes against my gay dad. My gay dad. He tried his best though. Like growing up, he used to feed us this thing called magic soup. You guys ever hear of magic soup? I don't know if you ever heard of that. Like, it used to be my favorite food growing up. Moving back made me more nostalgic, and it was like my favorite food. I ate it all the time. I couldn't wait to get it. I wanted to make it for my fiance. She never had it, so I called my dad up. I'm like, hey, remember magic soup? He goes, yeah, why? And I'm like, what's the recipe? It's like, why? I'm like, it's like my favorite food. I love eating it so much. Like, I can't wait. It was so good. I haven't had it in years. And my dad said, Chris, that was hot water with a bouillon cube in it. My favorite childhood food was fucking poverty. That's what I grew up eating. It's good, but I don't know. He recently had a heart attack. That scared me a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, it was weird. He went to the hospital. I rushed home, rushed like right past my house, like straight to the hospital. I get there, and he's just laying in the hospital bed, and my mom's there, my sister's there. They're all crying, everything, and he just looks inconvenienced by it. Like he's mad at like the hospital for having him. He's looked up all these things, and the doctor goes, "Hey, great news. He's stabilized. It wasn't a bad one. He's gonna recover just fine. Everything's gonna be okay." But you can go get him some food if he's hungry, right? Our kitchen is closed at the hospital. It's like a small hospital. And I'm like, yeah, what do you want? My dad's like, I don't want anything from here. Elizabeth is bringing me something. And I'm like, okay, so why is Elizabeth bringing you food? Ends up what my dad requested on his near deathbed, 6 chili cheese hot dogs from a restaurant called the Brighton Hot Dog Shop. He literally ate that with a heart monitor on. I'm like, why didn't you want a salad? He said, if I eat another salad, I'm going to kill myself. It's like, all right. I think the wieners are doing it for you. I don't know. It's my dad, man. That is my dad. It's weird. There's a recent kind of chaos during I mentioned John Fetterman earlier, but like recent Pennsylvania local elections a couple months ago now. So my family, my mom is like a hardcore Democrat, like union person. She's in the postal union. Her dad was in the steelworkers union. Her grandfather was a coal miner. So there's like all that. And she's always like, you vote straight Democrat. And my dad kind of used to be that way, but he actually thought January 6th was pretty cool. That's he referred to it as patriots, like many dads did. I don't know how that happened, but they really cornered the market of dads in my area. It was like, watch out, hot dads in my area looking to vote. But so he goes in, they go to vote, and my mother comes out. She goes, I voted straight Democrat, and then goes to my dad. I was like, did you? And he goes, yeah, I did. But for one guy, I voted for one Republican. And it was like a nuclear war happened, right? Like total breakdown, like yelling and screaming, and how could you do this? You're ruining America kind of stuff. My dad's going back and forth. And I'm like, why didn't he just lie? Like, I don't know. Just said, I even asked him, I'm like, okay, so now that you told the truth to my mom, I don't know why you wouldn't just lie to her. Who did you vote for? He goes, Chris, I voted for the coroner. It's a Republican guy I went to high school with. It was one of my friends. We used to go to Myrtle Beach together. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, like, my mom, I get that she got upset about it, but like, what's the worst? Just imagine you're like the most, left-leaning person ever, and remember, this is the most alt-right, out there, crazy corner in the entire world that you can think of, right? What's the worst thing that they could do damage-wise? Just walk into the morgue and be like, this body, not trans now. I don't know. That's like the worst thing they can do. The coroner's a phobe, not me. All right, moving on. You guys don't like my transphobic coroner. Here's the problem is, right? Like, a lot of the stuff I say is progressive, but I look like this. So they just assume that I drive a truck and say slurs, I think. So I have to be careful what words I do say. I don't know. That's weird. My dad, so he is a mechanic. He just bought a car to flip, like to fix up one from the junkyard that was totaled. It was pretty good condition. I think he got it super cheap because somebody was murdered in it. That's fun. And he said, no, it's not a bad car. He goes, why do you think somebody was murdered in it? There's literally 2 bullet holes in the trunk of the car, right? Lining up the head. There's no interior. The interior's gone. The headliner's down. So here's a cool thing, right? If you own a house and somebody gets murdered in it, the insurance has to tell people, you have to disclose that this house somebody was murdered in. If you have a car that somebody was murdered in and say like Wells Fargo or whoever, Chase Bank repossesses the car, Ally, they don't have to disclose that. This car was listed as vandalized. I'm like, yeah, it was vandalized with somebody's brain. That's what it was. And the interior of the car too, the thing it started like setting in and him realizing what was going on. It's a little tiny Ford little like Fiesta too. So it's like, who would try crimes in that car? Anyways, but like, I don't know, like if the cop's going to run you down on a bicycle, but there's little squares cut out of the ceiling. He goes, Chris, look up. I'm like, yeah, that means his brains were in the ceiling. It's a smart car. That's what it was. But it's coming out nice. I have to now work on this murder car. I'm wondering if it's going to be haunted like Herbie the Love Bug. So if anybody wants to purchase Herbie the Fentanyl Bug or whatever, fentanyl crime drug dealer bug, I have what I'm gonna have. It should be done in a month or 2, and I'm gonna have a spooky Halloween haunted blowout sale for anybody. So if you're looking for a good car, I'll cut you a deal. I don't know. It's a weird one. Yeah, my dad too. This is weird. So after moving home, I found out my family actually has a lot of dark secrets. I didn't know this. I found out I had a secret older brother too. That was crazy. But like, not like a full brother that was like chained up in the basement and he's all deformed. They didn't tell me about this. Like, like a half one. Before my dad married my mom, I guess, as they say, my dad be fucking is what it is. But the guy, he's like about 10 years older than me. He's a white guy with cornrows that runs a CrossFit studio. And I am a fat amateur stand-up comedian doing stand-up to you on my laptop. So my dad's DNA is killing it right now. So if any of you ladies want some of the good stuff, come down to southwestern Pennsylvania. That sounded really weird. I'm trying to sell my dad's genetic fluids. All right, moving on. But it's like weird. I could have met him a long time ago. I had a MySpace. I'm not sure if you guys remember MySpace at all? Yeah, I had a MySpace. I wasn't allowed to have one. It had to be secret, like top secret. I didn't want anybody to know. My parents like, you're gonna get abducted, you're gonna get molested, you're gonna get taken, you're gonna get touched. Everything. I guess I was a hot child. I wear my husky little hot Levi pants. But I made one anyways, and I'm like, okay, nobody can know about this. Nothing's going to happen to me, though. And then this happened. One day, I get a message from a strange older gentleman, right? And this is why kids disappear, because I immediately responded. And he goes, hello, Christopher. And I'm like, oh, my God, hello? And he goes, do you live in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania? And then I was like, oh, my God, he's probably pulling around the corner right now. And I just respond, I'm like, yes. And then he goes... You're roughly this old? I'm like, yes. And he goes, do you have a brother and sister? I'm like, holy shit. He wants to have a 4-way. This is scary. And I'm like, yes, I do. He goes, their names are Jen and Joe. I say, yes. And he goes and says, they're roughly this old? Yes. And he goes, send me a picture of them. I shit those little husky hot pants, man. I ripped my modem out of the wall. I didn't go back on until Facebook came out when I'm in college. Ends up, that was my older brother trying to get to know me. That's what it was. And I fucked it all up by playing hard to get. So that's good. Yeah. And yes, question mark, Beaver Falls, home of Joe Namath. I can't even say that right. I live in Aliquippa right now. If you guys want to dox me, you know where that's at. Also,
What's that?
Yeah, there's a few people from here, including what's the dude's name? Why am I blanking on it, Mark? Who has Ditka? You know, the Cubs guy. Yeah. So I have all these famous athletes around here, and the only place I'm running is back up to the buffet at Golden Corral. So not everybody got it. Not everybody got. I've been working out though. I like lifting weights, and I'm getting fucking yoked. I'm trying to flex my traps. You see how fucking yoked I am? No, wow. I started going again. I started going to this like this real like a corporate gym, but I used to go to like meathead gyms before when I was a kid, but now I'm at this like real like fancy place where everybody there kind of does look like question mark actually with a spray tan. That's it's like just all older gentlemen, like cool dads with like they're all wearing like wife beaters and short shorts, and they have mustaches and spray tan, and I'm lifting and I'm like benching and I needed a spot. And the only person available was a mustache question mark with a spray tan screaming while doing leg extensions. You know, the machinery like that. It's like he was breaking a world's strongest man event. And I'm like, okay, great. So I go up to him, I'm like, excuse me, sir. And he goes, hey, brother. I'm like, of course you fucking talk like Hulk Hogan with that mustache. And he's like can you give me a spot, you think, on bench? He goes, hell yeah, brother. And he comes over and he goes up to the bench and he proceeds to mount my face like he's getting onto a Harley, right? Didn't have long legs. The short, his balls were like maybe a millimeter off my forehead. I'm like, this is just absolutely exactly what I wanted to happen today. And, he unracks it and I'm going and I'm pressing in the middle of it. And I started getting like really fatigued and I'm getting ready for him to take it. Instead of him helping me, he decides to strike up a conversation. He's like, hey brother, what's your name? And I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, my name's I'm about to die. But I'm like, no, my name is Chris. And I'm like, what's your name? And this, I swear to God, I will swear in a Bible on court, this conversation literally happened the same word for word this way. He goes, what's your name? Chris. He goes, great to meet you, Chris. Like, what's your name? He goes, my name's Kirk and I'm getting a fucking divorce. I'm like, oh my God. And that's the last thing I want is when I have heavyweight about to go down on my neck is to upset him. I'm like, man, that sucks. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm sorry. And he goes, it's okay, brother. Physical fitness has replaced her. It's become my meditation. It's become my life. I'm like, holy shit, dude. And no offense, a question mark for comparing you to this guy. But I was like, I got geriatric Andrew Tate's balls in my face right now. This is awful. That was an awesome laugh. It was awesome. But yeah, no. Then he goes and says, this is my church. This is my temple. This is my church. And it's like, hey, Kirk, can you calm the fuck down? This is the LA Fitness by the airport. So, yeah, that was weird. That was definitely a weird one. Oh boy. Let's see what else I got going on. I just got back. I was in Texas for about a week and a half. And it is so hot there. It's not good for a fat guy. But I got so used to it. It's like 65, 70 degrees in Pittsburgh right now. And I am freezing, which is crazy. Hold on, let me see what else I wanted to talk about. The whole time I'm down there, people wanted to talk to me about football. You see, I couldn't even remember the name. I don't know shit about football. Do you guys like football at all? Yeah, football. I don't know anything about it. People say I'm a big dude though, and they always want to like talk to me about it. And it's weird because when they find out I don't know anything about it, they look at me like I have some sort of disability, like there's something wrong with me, which I find ironic because I can't think of anything more absolutely fucking autistic than forcing somebody to have a conversation with you about something you don't give a fuck about. It's like the weirdest thing. And if you don't believe me, that sounds like it's crazy. It's some of this like knowledge is autistic as hell. Like if you replace like Chicago Bears and like Dallas Cowboys or Chicago Bears or anything, Pittsburgh Steelers with anything about model trains, it works. And here's the note I have. I bet you don't even know how fast. I have to read notes because I haven't memorized the model trains yet. I'm still waiting for my 3 vaccines to kick in. That was supposed to make me so much smarter. All it did was give me the snuffles for a week. That pissed me off. I wanted to, I could be a little better. I bet you don't even know how fast the Lionel 700E 464 steam locomotive runs in the 40. You fucking virgin. I should have did that one when I signed up for Kill Tony. I didn't get it. Thank God. You guys watched Kill Tony? It really felt like I was waiting to do Incel America's Got Talent. It was absolutely insane, dude. It was the craziest people. So if you're unfamiliar with Austin, Texas, I really like it there, but it really has become the holy mecca for everybody that's gotten banned for saying the R word in their home open mic scene to move there. It's a dense concentration of slur chasers. So before I left, I did get to hang out with Pratik for like a week. He came over my house. That was fun, right? just two hairy, sweaty guys just cruising around Western PA, and we went to see a waterfall. That was romantic. It's an area I think that's like kind of known for like like gay guy cruising or whatever. But it was during the day. And I saw these two guys that they were friends. They clearly are standing next to each other. They came out of the woods. I was like, I bet these two guys just got done making out in there. And that's what I was thinking about. And then after I was there for about a half hour, 40 minutes with Pratik, we come walking out and some people looked at us and I was like, oh, now we're the two guys that were making out in the woods. Yeah, me and Pratik make out all the time. It's super hot. Our beards get stuck together like Velcro. I don't know who would be the top. I'm pretty big to be the top. I might hurt him. I'd have to be on the bottom. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna stop with that. This is a crazy thing. I know they have it out in Chicago, over up by Schaumburg Convention Center. We have it here in Pittsburgh, the world's largest furry convention. Do we have any furry people here in the audience? Any furries come out to the online comedy show this evening?
Jinda?
I don't know. The penis guy. What is Gene does costume? Is it just the gigantic fur covered dick? Just that'd be great. It is crazy. They have the world's largest furry convention in Pittsburgh. Anthrocon. It's massive. And this summer it was like extra hot. Like we had a heat wave and it had record attendance. There was 17,000 people showed up in fursuits and people started dropping down from exhaustion. The line went outside. It's like 95, 96 degrees, like super humid. And they're just like falling down, dropping like flies. Then ambulance is coming. They actually had to like cancel the event for a second to get people like inside the safety and check them in like inside. And it's crazy. They're talking to the kid in the news because it was super hot, especially when you wear this thing. It's like, why don't you take the cat costume off? The kid took his helmet off to do the thing, but they're so into character. The only reason I could see maybe keeping it on is if you went dressed like a dog in a hot car, and then I think you maybe would have nailed it. Dog with a hot car. I thought that was funny. All right. Try to do stuff that I haven't talked to you guys about yet. I have another note here. Isn't it weird you can see inside of ambulances while you're driving down the road? How come when I'm on the road going to comedy shows? See, I'm stupid. The reason Pratik was here is we drove 6 hours to make $5 on a show with 4 people at it. That's part of the thing. But you get to see a lot of, you get to see a lot of interesting things. And like while I'm doing these things, I'm regretting my life choices. We're heading back. Why do I have to have a staring contest with somebody's dying grandfather at 80 miles an hour on the highway? That's what I want to know. Like like I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with that one. Yeah. And then Anyways, I wanted to talk about this too before I go. You guys see I'm sure you saw it. The Trump assassination thing happened not far from where I live.
Oh,
that is fucking crazy. It's all over the news. Pratik and I actually got to see like the FBI cars like drive up the road and stuff when it happened. And it's so weird that kid did that. I don't know what that kid thought he was doing, if he was going to save America from Donald Trump. He just made him have like the coolest pictures I've ever seen in the entire world, regardless if you like him. I was like, fist is up in the air. I'm like, oh shit. All he did was just help him get reelected. It was so bad that Joe saw it and went, I have COVID, and dropped out of the fucking race. It's fucking wild. But anyways, Mark, I think that's all I have for you guys this evening.
Yeah. One more time for Chris Scriba. Yeah. Yeah, that is good. Was Pratik. Pratik was in the Western Pennsylvania area during the assassination too.
About 20 minutes away.
And I was like so afraid they were gonna just put up like a security perimeter and just round up everyone with a beard, like every brown person with a beard, and Pratik would never make it home.
We snuck them out in the trunk of the Focus.
There you go. of the death car, is that one?
Yeah, no, not that one. No.
Not the death car. Somebody died in it. You gotta tell me. I did check I didn't make a phone call during this, but I did check my voicemail. And question mark wanted to know if I was using a landline, but no, I'm just my phone is so shit. I want to point this out. My phone says host on it because I'm a perpetual host of comedy shows. So somebody gave me a label and I put it on my phone. But no, I just have to keep it plugged in all the time because they make batteries die all the time. So and you have to get new cables all the time. So it's basically I'm going back to a corded phone. Like the laptop has to be plugged in. The phone has to be plugged in. That is how tech is progressing. It's cyclical. Chris, you're talking about Kill Tony. I was on a long train ride recently, and I finally decided to listen to what this was all about. And what the fuck is wrong with people that is so long? Number one, podcasts are just long. It is so long, and it is so not good. It's just like so mediocre. It's just the most mediocre show I've ever seen in my life. And it's really sad and depressing. So don't watch Kill Tony. Don't listen to it is what I'll just recommend everybody. It's just not worth it.
It's an open mic where famous rich people call you names.
Yeah, you get heckled by celebrities, and people wholly unqualified to be performing are allowed to go up. It is a very strange. I mean, when you look at it from that sense, it's pretty golden. That's actually pretty good. You're talking about going to the gym. My favorite when I used to go to the gym. That's why the shirt is really baggy because I lost all my muscle. No, I'm just kidding. It's just a big shirt. I used to go to the gym all the time, and I always loved the dudes that would go in there in jeans and just like lift like crazy. Like the dudes that wear jeans to the gym, you cannot fuck with. Do not fuck with them because they're practicing in game conditions. Like they're going nuts on that punching bag and kicking it. They know what kind of give those jeans have. That is the key to peak performance. Practice in game conditions. Can't stress it enough. Chris, I thought you were going to say something.
No, I was just enjoying it. I last time I was there, I did go in jeans.
You went jeans. That is a power move.
Yeah, I ran out of time. You feel out of place, like a lot. Like I felt like I'd be better off naked.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the gym. But I probably wouldn't do that unless you were at question marks nude gym that he's opening up soon. Just all dudes that look like question mark and all of the penises just hanging out, and Jinda just gets to just keep typing what he sees. It's a win-win for everybody involved. It's great. Fun fact, Trump is now selling ear bandage Trump bobbleheads. He sells a lot of shitty merch. That is not a surprise. He sells so much shitty merch. His shoes were absolute garbage. Those were the worst shoes. I like ugly shoes. I contemplate. They were just too bad. They were too bad to even buy, ironically. They were too bad to even be like, hey, remember like Billy Beer? Well, we got Trump shoes and they all suck. So we don't do. Brandon wants new gyms. Brandon is wearing the least amount of clothes as anyone on this call because he doesn't even have sleeves. Brandon is not wearing sleeves. I want to see what's Brandon's background to make sure it's not offensive. Is that RFK Jr. being attacked by a dead bear? Is that what that is? I really don't know what that is.
Yes, it is.
Okay. That's
amazing.
That is interesting. I will tell this story. I've heard people say like, you know, if you have access to a dead bear, you might as well like use it for a prank. Like, why not throw it in Central Park? That's pretty fucking wild. Don't tell that to a comedian because there was a Chicago comedian back in the day. Chris might know who I'm talking about, but I won't say his name. That was from like Kansas City, and apparently like why he like I don't know why if this is why he had to leave his hometown, but back in his old home comedy club, he found a dead possum on the side of the road on the way to a mic or a show, and then decided to bring it on stage with him, and apparently like inflated it with a wet vac, like in reverse.
Oh.
He inflated a possum to like a balloon, which is way better than what RFK did. So leave it to comedians for your dead animal prop humor that we're gonna win. But, like if RFK did that, I'd be like, all right, this guy, I mean, brainworms, but they're onto something. They're going somewhere. I could see a future for this guy. I am going to bring up our next comedian. I'm super happy to have her back on Chirping Bird. I didn't tell her how much time she has. You could do up to 20 because Pratik won't be here for 20 minutes. So you're totally
okay.
Or you could do less, whatever you want. These are the things that I say publicly on the stream that I should have privately messaged everybody at 4:00 when I messaged everybody today. So you get to see how producers work in real time. It's really exciting. This is really cool stuff. But anyways, please welcome from Canada, Desiree Walsh.
Hello. I actually just got back from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I did a festival there this past weekend. It was good. I am Canadian. I also am disabled. I use a wheelchair. I think some of you know that, but I do have to say that or I will die. I will die. The festival was great. I have a joke I really like, and I will tell it to you because this is a comedy show. But but absolutely none of the Americans at the comedy show liked it. But it's so good.
Keep trying.
I like, I like America. I know that's a really weird sentence to say, but I like America because you guys have the Americans with Disabilities Act, which is great. Canada doesn't have any federal disability law. Like we don't have any. We only have provincial disability law, which is our version of the states. Like province means state in Canada. Yeah, but so we don't have any federal laws. But we do have provincial laws, but they're really more suggestions for people. Like that's very Canadian. Like if you would like to make your establishment accessible to the disabled, we have some literature. But if it is too hard for you, don't worry. We've called the disabled people. They're gonna stay home for the rest of their lives. But you guys have a really awesome law, and I like it. I was in LA in June doing some comedy, and while I was there, I went to Disneyland. And Disneyland has done a lot of work to. Oh shoot, I forgot. God bless comedians who can do this drunk and high. I am slightly tired, and I forgot one of the funny parts of the joke, so I'm just gonna go back. I don't know why Canada doesn't have like a federal disability law. Or, okay, one, because we're not American, and two, I don't know why. Okay, there, I did that. That joke's way better if you put it all together. Anyways, I went to Disneyland, and it was really great. Disneyland has done a lot of work to make the park outwardly wheelchair accessible, just in general. So it's really nice. They've made some of the rides like wheelchair accessible, so you can take your wheelchair in it, which is awesome, because usually if somebody invites you to take your wheelchair on a carnival ride of sorts, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. So that was nice that I could do that without dying. However, because they've made all these really inclusive gains, if you are just in a wheelchair now, like just in a wheelchair like me, you have to wait in line like everyone else. So maybe I didn't want equality as much as I thought, because it really messed up my vacation. It really did. And I was met with essentially crickets, which was odd, because I think that joke's really funny. We'll work on it one day. One day it will be funny. I did mention that I was in LA, and I really do like LA. LA makes Toronto, where I live, look like a quaint European village, like just very quaint. Think the opening of Beauty and the Beast, like, I need 6 eggs. That's too expensive. Apparently there are no Beauty and the Beast fans. This will go faster if you laugh at me, Granny. This will go faster if you laugh. But I like LA. Like, for context, I'm from Toronto, and Toronto is the capital of Ontario, which is the province I live in, which is Canadian for state. And like we're a major city. Like, we have 4.2 million people. We have 2 school boards. We have racist cops, like the whole shebang. And LA makes us look like a quaint town of 35, and for some reason we're all cousins. I think that's a lot funnier if we're in LA, but we're not. Oh God. So I was in the U.S. Those were prepared written material, and these are things I noticed about the U.S. this weekend. I recently went to the Olive Garden for the first time. We don't have Olive Garden in Canada, but I always hear like people on the TikTok, like influencers, talking about how, like, if he takes you to the Olive Garden, he doesn't love you. It's a fine spot for a date. It's a fine spot. It's
fine. The biggest issue is after you eat Olive Garden is that will be all you will be doing with your night. Because you won't need to go sit on the toilet for an hour. You won't need to go sit on it. Is that not an common American experience? One day we will make that funny. I'm gonna audition for Kill Tony next week. Oh, this isn't a joke. I just want to share it with you. The only Canadians I know who have gone on Kill Tony happen to also be disabled. And I mean, good for them. Like, yay, American TV. That is how you know you've made it in Canadian comedy if you are on an American TV program. Anyways, I do not want to do Kill Tony for lots of reasons. But one of them is I don't want to be the only Canadian disabled person they've had on it, that they're just like, no. Again, I'll work on that. Maybe that will be funny. So I also went to Sheets this weekend. I went to Sheets. I don't know if you are familiar, the gas station restaurant. I have one question for you, America. How are all of you still alive? That is my question. Because I had deep fried macaroni and cheese, mozzarella sticks, and deep fried cheese curds, and 2 chicken sliders with the Dr. Pepper sauce. And the next day it was like I drank like a 2-4. I don't know if you guys say that in America. It's a case of beer. And like we were supposed to go out, and I had to call the person that I was hanging around, the other comic I was hanging around with, and be like, we can't go see anything touristy. I need to sleep. And she was like, oh, like, when will you be done? And I was like, I'm not sure, but I'll see you for a show at 6. How are any of you alive? Like, for a country that does not have universal health care, you are certainly fat and loose with the fried cheese. And really the dairy in general. I can work on this. But one of my favorite things as a Canadian is to tell Americans how much their medical procedure would cost in Canada. As I said, I went to a comedy festival in LA in June. That's more of a humble brag than anything. But I was staying with a comedian that had a knee replacement, and I was like, in Canada, that would be free, but you'd have to wait 5 years. Maybe that's only funny to me. And then she had a CPAP, and I was like, in Canada, that would be free through the assistive devices program. Maybe that's only funny to me, and I'm just being mean currently. I'm bullying America. But that is my favorite thing, except you guys win because you have the Americans with Disabilities Act. So your country is, again, oddly accessible for a country with privatized healthcare and a lot of fried cheese. There's something there. Maybe there's not. I don't know. I will do the jokes at the festival. Really did like. A lot of people ask me how to be a better ally to the wheelchair bound. And there's lots of ways you can be a better ally to the wheelchair bound. One, don't say wheelchair bound because you sound like a dick. Also, spoiler alert, every person in a wheelchair can get out of their wheelchair. We are actually not bound to them. It is very much a choice to use a wheelchair. I mean, the alternative is crawling around on the ground like a gremlin, but it is still very much a choice. So yes, if you want to be a good ally to the wheelchair bound, stop using wheelchair bound. And also, if you want to be a good ally to the wheelchair using people, don't have sex in the accessible stall at the bar. Don't do it. I don't come to your bed and pee in your bed. Don't have sex in my toilet. Walkies, don't do it. But I don't want to kink shame. So if you really, really have to have sex in the accessible stall of the bar, just do like a once, twice around the bar. And if you see anybody with a mobility device or wheelchair like myself, just go over, introduce yourself. They won't be mad. I cleared it at the meeting. And just be like, hey, myself and my partner are going to go get our freak on real quick. Do you have to pee? Similar to how you would ask your roommate if they needed the toilet before you took a 4-hour tub, just like that. And I know what you're thinking. If we can't have sex in the accessible stall at the bar, where can we have sex?
Right.
No. I hear the dumpster behind the bar is lovely this time of year, just lovely. But I do understand a lot of people pee behind those. So maybe just do like a once, twice around the dumpster. And if you see anybody peeing, just be like, hey, are you almost done yet? I have to have sex. We have to have sex. I personally cannot participate in the public sex because to participate in public sex, you pretty much have to be able to run, and my legs are dead. I just like to throw that out every time I do this joke because once I got off stage after doing it, and a man came up to me and said, so when are we having sex behind the bar? And I just looked at him and said, oh, sir, we are not. For a multitude of reasons, we are not. And I guess my face was such that he just looked at me and was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So at least he was a polite pervert. At least he was polite. I recently started a job at a place that advocates for people with disabilities, like a non-for-profit organization that helps people with disabilities. And it's great, except they know I do stand-up comedy. So they keep being like, I bet you're getting some good comedy here. And I'm not, because everyone is lovely. It turns out having your human rights respected for 7.5 hours is not funny. It's not. It's really nice though. I just wish like one or two of my coworkers would go have sex in the accessible stall in the bathroom in the break room. But then it would kind of make sense because like 50% of the staff is in wheelchairs, and like where else are two people in wheelchairs going to copulate in public? If not the accessible stall, because it's too hard to get two people in wheelchairs in an elevator and get your clothes off in a timely manner. Yeah, it's just most people find that really funny. I guess you guys are not most people. Good for you for being yeah. No segue. I recently went on a road trip with some of you walkies, and like I don't know walkies. Like people say I'm a lot of work, but I think it might be you, the walkies, because I didn't realize on road trips you people get out of the car like every hour on the hour, because you have to pee. A 6-hour road trip turns into 12 hours because you have to pee and stretch your legs. What is this? Stretching of the legs. Also, you go in to get the food. What is that? Conversely, if you are in a wheelchair and you have to go somewhere and it takes 6 hours, it's going to take 6 hours because you don't get out of the car to pee till you get to the destination. And there's none of this stretching of the legs. There's no stretching of the legs because my legs are dead. I think this is really funny. I don't care if you also, you just go through the drive-through because it's efficient. So like people also tell me I'm inspiring for doing comedy in a wheelchair. I don't think I am. I think it is you, the walkie, for turning a 6-hour road trip into 12. One of the other things I like to do with my walkie friends is treat them like people treat me. That is really funny. So I like to go into establishments, like bars, restaurants, coffee shops, and just approach a bipedal person and tell them they're so brave for being out, and that it is good to see them out. By the way, if you ever want somebody to leave you alone in public who is bipedal, just go up to them and tell them that they are so brave for being out. and it's good to see them out, and they will immediately turn around and leave you alone, even if they are mid-sentence. The other thing I like to do is when I am wheeling and they're walking with my walkie friends, when we are out, I like to ask them if they need a push. And then when they say no, I tell them that it's okay. They don't need to be brave for me, because my parents are bipedal and I know the struggles of the bipedal because my parents are bipedal. And then they assure me that they don't need a push. And then I ask about 5 minutes later if they would like a push, and then they say no. And I push them anyway because they don't know what they want, and I push them into the middle of the street, and then it's a real win-win because I get more disabled friends and they get good parking at the mall. Because Disneyland doesn't do that anymore. Again, this will go faster if you laugh.
I'm laughing. I love it. I'm laughing.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with disability. It's just a short joke. I'm addicted to candles. Yeah, I come by it honestly. My mom is addicted to... Oh, I just saw able shaming. Yes, that's correct. And that is exactly what I'm doing. The able-bodied are sticks or jar candles. I really like the jar candles. I'm addicted to 3-wick candles from Bath and Body Works. I come by it honestly. My mom is addicted to candles, so I tried to stay away from it for a really long time. But then I turned 40 and I don't have any kids, and I'm not married. So like candles are like the best part of my life because you can have buckets of fire on your coffee table with those meat Roombas running around, like those little meat Roombas. That's what I call children because I don't have any. So I'm not familiar with the terminology, but you can't have a bucket of fire when you got kids. Or I suppose they would be like reverse meat Roombas because kids make messes. And I didn't really think I had a problem till one of my friends came over and said, I like Bath and Body Works too, but your house looks like a storeroom and I'm worried about you. And then I kicked her out of my home because I don't need that negativity. But I think she might be on to something because I was reviewing my finances and I spend $400 a month on candles. And I just want to clarify, it's not because I'm very wealthy. I am financially irresponsible. Like, I really do have a problem. So if anybody knows of a 3-Wicks Anonymous, please let me know. Thank you. I've been Desiree Walsh. I hope you enjoyed this hostage situation as much as I have.
Thank you, Desiree Walsh. I love it. Yeah, it was jar. Christopher wanted to know stick candles or jar candles. Are all the jar candles? That's what you're doing?
Yeah, the 3-wick jar candles.
That is nice. I don't even. I love candles. I have candles, but I don't trust myself to blow them all out at the end of the night. Like there's no, like I will wake up in the middle of the night and check all my candles. So it's better for me just to stay away from them. That's what I've learned of my age. I don't know. I was laughing pretty hard. I don't know. You were talking about American food. and saying that like it's crazy that we don't even have national health care and we eat like this. If we had national health care, they wouldn't let us eat like this. The only reason we could eat like this is because we're paying our own doctor's bills at this point. The government would not want to cover the what we're doing to ourselves. Olive, you're talking about Olive Garden. It is a fun place to go. Especially I go for the unlimited soup and salad and breadsticks. And it is like they make you feel like crap when you do that. They make you feel so poor. There's like it's $9 to add pasta to this. You don't have $9 more. And I'm like, no, I want to eat 5 salads. I want 5 of them. Keep the salads coming. So it's a very, very shameful place if anyone's ever. I want to go back to Brandon real quick. Brandon, I looked this up. The person, there was an interview with RFK, and he said that maybe is where he got the brain worms was from this incident. So I'm starting to think that that poor bear got the last laugh on that by giving RFK an actual sense of humor at this point in time. The guy's hilarious. I don't want him to win, but I mean, at this point, honestly, like you gotta convince people he's still better than Trump, right? That's kind of like the storyline you got to stick with, like, because that'll get Trump voters to vote for him. Is what I'm saying. So you got to say like he's better than Trump. Like you have to legitimize him enough to get votes from Trump. He's not that crazy, and his crazy has reason for it. We all know the brain worms. It's actually good. It's about overcoming adversity for RFK Jr. I thought RFK Jr. I'm still confused by this. A question mark is no longer here, but someone could straighten this out. I thought RFK Jr. That's not the same guy that like the character Elaine on Seinfeld was in love with, right? That was a different RFK. That was one that crashed a plane.
That was JFK Jr.
Oh, was it JFK Jr. was the one from Seinfeld?
Maybe because he was going to be senator for New York, and then he crashed, and so Hillary became senator.
Strange, right? Yeah. Not the first time the Clintons pulled off something with airplanes in New York City. I'm not saying they did 9/11. I'm just saying maybe it was a dry run. Maybe the terrorists beat them to it. Edward said, every time I hear people from Canada, I think of oh my God, I'm not reading that. Why do I fucking read the chat? Don't let me ever read the chat again. I don't know what Edward's typing in there, and I don't want to know about it. That's right. It was funny before you joined and before you started. I did go on a rant against Canada, and I forgot that you were coming on the show later, and you were from Canada. And I wanted to know, because I want to know if Canadians even know this. I want to know if Canadians know how many provinces are there.
10.
10. All right, that sounded confident enough. That's what question mark said too. He gets 10 as well.
Yeah, no, that's right.
It is. Because I was ripping on Canada, then I said, watch out, it's going to be a Canadian national holiday that I didn't know about. And
it is actually. It's I don't know. I think it's like Simcoe Day or something right now, but we got the day off today.
I feel bad now. I feel bad for ripping on Canada. Not just because you're from there, and many of our viewers are, and they're all very nice. It's just so easy. It's just such an easy punching bag. It's like any thought I have about people from Wisconsin, it's just true for Canadians too. So, and Illinois touches Wisconsin. I see Wisconsin people all the time. You could tell because they tuck in their shirts. That's the number one thing is Wisconsin people wear their jeans kind of high up, and then they tuck in their shirt. And they have a big old belly that hangs over it from all the cheese curds. So you can just tell someone's from Wisconsin from the street. And then when I have thoughts about them, I just say, I bet you Canadians, it's the same way. Christopher is giving me there's 10 provinces.
Yeah.
And 3 territories.
Yep, that's right.
Sounds like Canada hasn't even settled yet. 3 territories? What the fuck is that? Northwest Territories is the most laziest named thing. Where is it? It's just way up northwest, man. It's just a territory. You want to go there. It's bear country. Send RFK up there, you know. So, okay, Edward is saying Clinton, he's a pro Clinton have done murders thing. I don't think so. I think the only thing he killed was that saxophone on that Late Show in the 90s. He crushed it. He did a great job with that. We need a president that could play the saxophone. That's what I'm coming down to, is we need a president that has some sort of musical ability. Would be great. Lollapalooza. We should be drafting them from the Lollapalooza show. Lollapalooza was in Chicago this weekend. It was it's absolutely insane, because all it is kids from the suburbs take the train into the city and then fill up the city and then leave. And then I leave the city and go to the suburbs because all the parents are partying out in the suburbs with their kids downtown. So it's a nice little swap you do. It's called the suburban switch. Pratik is coming. If anyone does have any questions, Edward is going deep into these conspiracies. I know that name. I know who he is. I'm not going to explore it anymore. But if you do have any questions for me while we're waiting for Pratik, Mother Nipple Bottom did not like my 9/11 joke. That is completely fine. I don't think there's a 9/11 joke she would have liked. How about that? I don't think there was a way to win it. Yeah, Ukraine did like the comedian. He was a funny guy. I know comedians enough that besides Judah Friedlander, I don't want any running for office. There was one local comedian in Chicago, which I want to point out is a very, very democratic city and area and very liberal voting area. And there's a comedian that decided to run for state senate on the Republican Party in Chicago, which is like the dumbest thing you could do, because like 300 people vote for the Republicans in Chicago. And he did it just for the attention. He did it just because they were like, it was one of those like races where they never put, like the Republicans don't even run people because they don't even spend money on the campaign because they won't win. And he was just like, well, what the heck? I just have to get 500 signatures and I can run. And then he did that. And then he just did the same shit jokes at like press conferences. It was awesome. Actually, maybe I'll book him next week. I might track him down and see if we could have a real live, politician on the show as well next time. Yeah. Ukraine did it like the community. I think Zelensky is I think he's getting a lot of material. If there's one thing I could say about I think when it's all over and they sign the peace deal, this guy's going to have some fucking material. Zelensky, isn't that how you say it? Someone said who? Isn't that? Am I saying it wrong? Is it?
No, I think you're right. I don't know though, but I think you're right.
Oh, Brandon's saying Pat Paulson. I don't know what that means.
Jeez. Oh, you youngsters.
Who's Pat Paulson?
He used to run for president.
Like as a joke? Like it was a joke. I like the joke running. That works. I don't know who Pat Paulson is though, but it's hard because people are typing names in here and Edward is still accusing all of them of being murdered by the Clintons at this point. It doesn't matter what name it is. We're going to do that. Edward now has Trump shaving Vince McMahon's head on his video. This is great. Mother Nipple Bottom said, not Ben Glebe, please. I don't know. I think Ben Glebe's a cool guy. He did a show out here in Chicago not that long ago, and like a crazy Trump supporter like heckled him and they had to like kick him out, and then he got a bunch of death threats. So Ben's been through some shit. I think Ben's a cool guy. I do not endorse him for president, though. I want to point that out, that I do not endorse him for president. I don't know. So are you guys going to vote this year? Is everyone going to vote?
No. Yes.
Are you going to vote, Brandon?
Of course. You kidding?
It
doesn't matter. I'm in California, but
yeah, it does. Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. People in swing states, their vote does matter more than us, and that's really sad because swing states usually are the most depressing states to visit. Like, there's not a single swing state I would go on vacation to. Like, they don't work that way. But when you're in a state that's like solidly one party, and you're like, why would I vote? It's going to go anyways. You want to get the popular vote for posterity's sake, though, because if you lose the election, you want to be like, look, 3 more Americans. Like, it doesn't mean anything and it won't matter, but it's always better to just bitch about the popular vote if you lose the election. That's why I'm going to vote every time, even if it means I have to do jury duty, because that's what it means when you vote. You get called into jury duty, and they do not let you out of jury duty these days. It is really sad. Do they have Desiree? Do they have juries in Canada?
Yes.
Do Canadian courts like wear like wigs like they do in England?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm asking because I figured Canada somewhere between like still doing like with trial by ordeal, you know, like doing some 1800s bullshit. Like if she floats, you gotta let her go, like stuff like that. You guys got 3 territories. Those territories do not have courtrooms. I'll just assume they do not have courtrooms. They do. I'm gonna look up what
they're like whole ass cities.
In the territories. You've been to the territories?
I have never been. They're not populated well, but they do have like some infrastructure.
You know what we would call them in America if they're very far out there and not populated well? Those are just called red states. That's what.
Okay.
That's what. If there's no major cities, that's red states. Well, I am glad you're all here. Judah Friedlander is not making it tonight, but thank you all for sticking around. And we do have another performer coming up, and he just entered. I want to make sure he's okay. Pratik, are you good? I'll make you co-host too, so you could totally do whatever you want. He's unleashed, guys. I'm unleashed performer on this show. He's being unleashed.
How do I sound? Hello.
Sounds good, man. It's a very political show tonight. It's very political. And,
boy.
We're voting for RFK, Pratik. We decided we're voting for RFK Jr. now. I'm gonna bring him up though. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll just bring you up. You can message me. Otherwise, I'm gonna go see you. I'm gonna ask Christopher to share his screen with everybody because I don't know what he's doing on that. What the hell? I just fucked up the whole show. Okay, what just happened?
Oh,
what did I do? What happened? Shit. Does everyone see this?
It looks
We're good. We're good now.
Paranormal activity.
You're outside, man. Are you good? Are you good to go?
Oh yeah, I'll be good. It's gonna be an inside set kind of. You're gonna see me wait for my Uber driver, and then I'll do the set. I'll do some of it inside the Uber, and then we'll get out of here.
All right. Let me know if you need any help along the way. Let me know if you.
I know I've had issues before, but no, we should be good.
All right. There's 1,000 mirrors. I love it. I kind of want to do it again on purpose. That freaked me out. I am going to bring him up, though. He just turned off his camera. He's a friend of the room. You catch him performing all over. Our first performer of the night. Chris just spent a few days with him and talked about the beautiful waterfall. And maybe we could hear about this beautiful waterfall from Pratik if he wants to share that story. But otherwise, please welcome back to Chirping Bird, the wonderful Pratik Sevastopol.
Hello, everybody. Hey, how we doing? Hey, I think this is my 3rd week in a row I've been on, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't had that in a while, and I'm fine. I'm fine being on right now. It works out. Okay, so what Chris Screwboss was on, and he was talking about the waterfall. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Is that what I have to address?
What happened out there?
This is a Senate hearing more than a stand-up set, basically. So yeah, waterfall. We were in Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago, and we went hiking because when you're 2 large men in Pittsburgh and all of the food is very fattening, you have to go for a hike. So we went for a hike, and we saw like a condom in the middle, syringes. I was not prepared for the hike. I have hiking shoes that I got when I was still with my ex, who you might have seen on Chirping Bird a few times, and we went hiking. But then I did not know we were going hiking, so I didn't bring these hiking shoes to Pittsburgh. So imagine trying to climb a bunch of rocks with faded, not even Air Jordans, but like just faded Nike walkers. Like that's basically what that. Fucking terrible. Hold on one second. Let's see if I just need to know what to look for. Gray Chevrolet Bolt. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Unless the Uber driver cancels, because that happens a bunch. I have I should look up what the name of the person is, so then we can do that. We're looking for We're looking for a gray Chevy Bolt of the name Queenie. Okay, that's the person's name. Gray Chevy Bolt with the name Queenie. If you want to see around me, this is the Chicago Greyhound Station. That's what I'm. There's a lot of activity at the Chicago Greyhound Station. That's where I am right now. I was trying to start it from the bus, but I don't know if I've ever performed from a Greyhound bus. I know Michael Magid from Comedy in English was trying to get me to perform on a bus. It's very rickety on the bus, and the Wi-Fi isn't good. And also, people don't like. They're now like quiet, like mandates where you have to be quiet. You were on the bus, so I don't know if I could do. I would do basically a half-ass set then, So that's why, if I'm ever like, hey, I'm running late, it's because like I just calculate how long a bus would take, And this show is so loose and organized that we're close. Who's around? It's this Chirping Bird is run like a pickup basketball game. Like, hey, who's around? You gotta have to work, I was in Cleveland recently. I went to a Cleveland Guardians game and I wore the Caucasian shirt to it. That's since we blown up my Instagram, so thought I'd share that with you. I don't know if there's a joke there. There might be a reel, so if you want to learn more, you got to follow @Pratik Comedy to learn more about that. But yeah, if you want to see my escapades wearing the Caucasian shirt, if you don't know what I'm talking about, we have a problem in this country with sports teams reflecting Native American culture. So there were two guys. There was one who was a white guy, and then there was one that was a Native American guy who designed this shirt that looks like the Cleveland Indians logo, but it's with a white dude, and it's called the Caucasians. And I just feel like that's the greatest team ever. I've never had a problem with that shirt. Anytime anyone's questioned, I just go, hey, I'm just here supporting my favorite team, the Caucasians. They are a team that they feel like the underdogs, but they're definitely not the underdogs. They're the favorites. They might act like an underdog, those Caucasians, but they're here. That's fun. That was what that was. Where did Comedy in English go? I heard it moved to KO. Comedy in English, there is a live show, and we just wanted to focus on the live show. So that's what you can. If you want to support Comedy in English, you can go to the actual show in Santa Monica every Tuesday and Saturday, and sometimes I'm there when I'm in town. There is a blue car that shows up and it looks like my driver, so I think my driver lied about his car color. Hey, shout out to the Uber drivers that lie about their car color. Sound off in the comments if you ever had that issue while trying to wait for an Uber, is they just don't tell you what car color they. You know what I'm saying?
No. Oh no.
So we'll see there. I do have to just check now if this idiot is here. FP, it says gray Chevy Bolt, and I think he's on the other side. So now we're gonna do a thing where I have to do. You're going to see me now wave at him. This is exactly what I thought. You have to come over here, bud. Yeah, see, he's saying he doesn't want to come. See, now this is what you're going to see. You're going to see a man who doesn't want to cross the street, and you know what he wants me to do? He wants me to play Human Frogger and cross the street. If I'm going to play Human Frogger, I'm not going to pay $15 for a 10-minute ride. That's how that works, all right? There should be a Frogger rate at Uber, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, knock off $2 if you're crossing the street, man.
Yeah.
If you get hit, even more.
That was not my ride. That's what that was. I gotta find this guy. So now we're gonna do a call. So hang on, everybody. But this idiot is not gonna tell me where he is.
Blue.
Is it? Can't see. I think this is it, maybe. Yeah, it's very hard to see.
This is going to lead to me leaving my laptop on and going and picking up Pratik downtown. This is what's going to happen.
Play on your sympathy.
Okay. Didn't see you there. And then I got a bag. See my. Oh, okay. It's not automatic. So I did find the. Driver, and I'm now getting in. So now we're good. I'm now in the driver, everybody. I'm in the car, and things are good. And I'm gonna have a slightly less lit face, so going well. and I am in a shared ride too. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so was in Cleveland, did some shows there. That was fun. Was in New York before that. That was wild. I was riding my bike in New York. My parents told me don't ride my bike in New York. Ended up riding my bike in New York, and I crashed into a halal cart stand. Yeah, I crashed into a halal cart stand. Yeah, you know what happened? I just started taking over the halal cart stand like nothing ever happened. I just took over. I was that halal cart guy. You know what I'm saying? This is wild. Yeah. It's like when Tim Allen, took over being the Santa Claus. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna remake that movie and we're gonna call it the Shawarma Claus. Yeah. And that movie will be coming out on Disney Check Minus, you guys. Yeah. You know what Disney Check Minus is, right? Disney Check Minus is the bootleg streamer. Yeah. Yeah. You know what else is on Disney Check Minus? A little movie called Jungle Book 2, Mowgli's Depression Years, starring me. Yeah. It's great. I don't think I've told anyone in the car what I'm doing, so they probably think I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm doing a set right now on the phone, so don't be alarmed. I don't think they care, so that's fine. Yeah, that'd be interesting, right? If you were on, you got into an Uber pool and the guy's just talking into his phone. I don't know how I look right now. I look like maybe the Cheshire Cat. I have some light, I have maybe no light. I don't know. So I don't know how much you guys can see, but I definitely know. I don't know how much you can. I guess now you can see it, but it's fine. I mean, that's what this is not supposed to be. This is not supposed to be a flawless. This is literally we have somebody who's entered the chat. I guess I gave me that power too, Mark. I can actually let people in and out. So I am king. Yeah. Just as long as we don't get Zumba again. we don't need that. There's less street lights here. Don't worry, I'm still here, everybody. All right, you can still hear you can hear my voice. You can see those luscious lips. Yeah, you were good. All right, this is still. I did a set one time in the middle of a birthday party. I went into the bathroom and I did the performance on the phone in there. So this is nothing new. This is typical. Didn't Kevin Kellum do one set on the street too? So you're getting the whole experience of you're actually getting a thing that nobody else gets. You're getting Pratik between the character and the real life and where the line blurs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a whole thing. Yeah. I use the name Nick when I order Ubers and Lyfts because it's a whole thing. It's wild. I just think I have a bet. I think Pratik has a 4.1 Oob star rating, and I think Nick Patterson has closer to 4.7. It's probably gone down. I mean, I think my driver probably knows what my real rating is, but I don't. It's probably closer to 4.5. I had 2.7 GPA. I'll take a 4.5 Uber. You know what I'm saying, guys? It's fine. I think it's good to be. I think it's good to be out and about. In the city. I'll travel and I'll go check out new restaurants. That's always fun. I was actually in Cleveland and I went to a pad thai restaurant. Here's what happened. I walk into the restaurant and the person thought I was the Uber Eats guy. Yeah. I just and that's a form of racism I am okay with. If you think I'm the Uber Eats guy, that's fine. Because you know why? I'm getting free food everywhere I go. I haven't had to pay for lo mein noodles in 10 months, you guys. Yeah, I've eaten Janice's lo mein noodles, doesn't matter. And it's always tightly y'all have noticed the more mom and pop the restaurant is, the more stapled the receipt is to the brown bag for the to go. And when I say stapled, we're talking 5-6 staples on it. That's a lot. I get afraid that I'm going to eat the staple when I open it. You got to be careful because you don't know what's going to happen. I sweat about two things. I sweat about the Uber wait time, and I sweat about eating staples from the to-go containers. So you have to be careful about it. Anytime a lo mein noodle is a little extra chewy, I'm like, well, what's in there? What's going on in there? What are we doing? Hey, what's in there? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with that stuff. But I get it. You know, I don't mind. I know what I look like. I'm the final boss of Uber drivers. It's okay. Somebody just wrote Chewy Staples. Chewy Staples is a SoundCloud rapper with a new song coming out. I think Chewy Staples works with Post Malone, if I'm not mistaken. Gotta be careful. Are we confirmed that Mark? Are we confirmed Judah's not coming? So I'm closing this out. Yeah, I've always wanted to headline Chirping Bird. I've always wanted to do it in very little lighting. This is a dream come true, guys. You want to see on your right? I don't know how much you can see, but that is the famous Thompson Center on my. You know, that's where you go when you got a parking ticket. You got to be careful about that. Yeah, I'm not going to do a full. This isn't like that show. I'm not going to do a full tour. You know what I'm saying? We don't got that kind of time, right? You know, I do ride Greyhound buses a lot. You know, I do travel. Sometimes when I don't ride the Greyhound bus, I'll take a little plane. You know, I'll take a little Southwest Airlines. You know, you might have heard me talk about Southwest Airlines. You know, I might have talking about it before. Make some noise if you've heard me talk about Southwest Airlines. Who's heard me utter? One person is interested right now. I think the rest of you are wait. I think the rest of you think I'm just stalling, and Judah will show up. And we're just working you right now. No, I am the show. All right, I am the bird. I am the chirping. I'm everything. On your left is Chase Bank. I don't know who uses them. I don't like them because they charge me an overdraft fee. And you know what I was just supporting some local artists. All right. Yeah, I overdrafted my card while on OnlyFans, you know, but I was just supporting local artists. All right. I support small businesses. All right. I know what I'm doing. All right. I'm a small business administrator. All right. You know what I'm saying? We know what's up in there, in listening land. I bet all of you wish you could support local artists. So you definitely have to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? CJ and Nico. Evil Dave definitely knows what I'm talking. Evil Dave supports way too many local artists. You know?
Yeah, he is.
Desiree is still here. That's cool. I haven't seen Desiree in a while. I know Desiree talks about he's still on the Uncrustable kick.
Yeah, they came to Canada.
I saw that Uncrustables came to Canada, and I also believe there was like a thing about the UK. Like I think London got them too. So like, it's just great to see Europeans and Canadians experience the diabetes that we have in this country. Because that's I mean, Uncrustables. It's just a mouthful of diabetes. It is. Yes. It is amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I am trying to get up to Toronto. Actually, Chris Grivas, who was on this show, he was talking about coming up to do some Toronto shows, so I might come up with it. So, you know, maybe we can meet.
Nice.
You know,
That'll be great.
We'll see. I know you run some shows. So we'll talk afterwards, or at least I thought you did. Am I correct in that assertion?
Yeah, I run a couple shows with Kelly.
Sweet. Yeah, that's what this is starting into is me talking about booking. You know, so you're getting the behind the scenes. You know, you're not going to get this in other people's sets, but you get it in my set. All right, I'm giving you gold here, baby. We know what's up.
It truly is. Pratik, being in the car with you right now, it truly is a vision into what it's like hanging out with comedians.
Vision to be me. Vision into greatness. Greatness. I do that sometimes. Oh, one time I was in an Uber and it was in the wintertime here in Chicago. We have not fun winters. I mean, our wind literally punches us in the face sometimes. Have to be careful. And the Uber driver insisted on having the window open. I did not want that. And so I voiced my concern. I voiced my concern in a healthy manner. I said, excuse me, do you mind if we close the window? It's a little cold. And the Uber driver said, and I quote, "If you don't like the way I'm driving, you can take the bus." That is literally what this driver said. This was like 3-4 months ago. Fun time. Somebody just wrote, "I'm rewatching the series Crashing, and it feels very real." Crashing is about as real to stand-up comedy as ER is to the medical field. All right, it is very glorified. All right, no one crashes on Artie Lang's couch. All right, Artie Lang crashes on your couch. Okay, you know what I'm saying? That was an inside joke. No, nobody just falls into Sarah Silverman's lap and then gets a job warming up TV audiences. That takes years and years of groveling. All right, that takes years and years of co-producing comedy in English on Zoom in order to get a TV warm-up gig. See how I call back? You don't know if I'm telling the truth. I might be telling the truth. I might not. Yeah, this is a great image. I hope someone takes a still of this right now. You're just getting me in the light. You know. Full moon is out or a street light. It could be a street light or it could be the moon. I'm not going to tell you the truth. You're going to have to just guess. You just saw a street light. I just told you what it is. It's fun. It's fun to be back in Chicago. You're literally getting me right when I just got up travel work. So this is good. You're not. Nobody else gets this type of thing. Only you guys are. But it is good to be back. You know, I have been traveling a lot. You know. And I've also been, watching things while I'm traveling. I caught up on a couple things. Caught up on The Boys on Amazon. You guys watch that show, The Boys? Somebody's wrote the maximum of quality. That sounds like a vape pen flavor, or an episode of The Boys, or the name of like maximum of quality. That sounds like if Loterman is trying to do like a moisturizer and they're like doing the ad for the moisturizer, and they're like, it's like the creepy voiceovers is like the maximum of quality, the cascade of living. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's moisturizer. Just does it help with my ashy skin? That's all that matters. All right, you need to tell me that. I don't need you to whisper sweet nothings into my ear. Right? If I don't want to whisper, if I want to have my ears whispered with sweet nothings, I would still be subscribed to Delilah on OnlyFans, because that was actually an option. It was actually $5 a month to have her whisper sweet nothing. All right. That's a good, I support the artists. Okay. I am a big supporter of small businesses. Right. You know what I'm saying? I love when people cross in the middle of the road. It's always a good time. Just past the church. I don't know if we have any Christians here. I know Christians are in the news right now because they are mad about the Olympics. You know, that's a fun little topic right now. Anybody, if we have any Christians in our own audience, I understand you're frustrated for valid reasons. In my opinion, I would be frustrated too about the Olympic opening ceremony. I would be very frustrated. My frustration is a little different. I'm frustrated because I couldn't see it because I ran out of premium Peacock. Yeah, I had it for a while, and you can't watch the replays anymore unless you have premium. So that's why I'm frustrated about it. I think they're frustrated for the opposite reason. They saw it and that made them. I'm just mad because I didn't see it. Like, I'm the opposite. You know what I'm saying? No, I do think it's wild how many people are mad about that opening ceremony, because I can think of a Olympic ceremony from the 1940s that was way more offensive. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink. Yeah, that was way more of an offensive display.
Yeah.
Than anything that happened in this. It's cute. All right. If anybody should be mad, you know who should be mad is lifeguards during the swimming competition. All right. Those two I should be mad for, because those guys do nothing. All right. If you're a lifeguard at the swimming competition, you're like a bouncer at the bookstore, right? Like you don't get any love, and there's nothing for you to do. You work your whole life, you don't get to do anything. Thank you so much for putting up with me. So yeah, very polite, right? Uneventful ride. I've had experiences where it isn't always. I've had some not fun experiences with Ubers, but that was great. She was great. You'll get 5 stars. It's always fun. I don't know if I'm gonna get 5 stars, but I will give her 5 stars. You know what I'm saying?
Talk to her.
Can't tell if you guys are laughing or just disturbed right now. I don't know. I don't know if anyone's genuinely like, oh my God, is he all right? No, I'm fine. All right. We are now in front of the world famous Gino's East Chicago. They got pizza here. They got other things here. But what we're here for is the little place called the Comedy. Where is it? There we go. Comedy Bar right there. They have one in Toronto too. I don't know if it's the same thing. I don't know which
I don't think it is.
I don't think it's better or worse. This one just has pizza there, so maybe I don't know if the Canadian one has pizza.
One of
I
them
think that's
does.
different. Oh, it does?
One of them does. The one on the Dan Ford has pizza.
Oh, you guys got multiple. You got a chain of it. So, thanks. Just say that is comedian Michael Robinson. You're on Zoom comedy.
Hey.
Like, he's running away. I don't think my teams ever did Zoom comedy, but I'm sure we would love to have. Sure, it's fun.
He's a funny dude.
No, I think I think it's what we're doing here with comedy is a fun thing, especially Zoom comedy. I mean, again, I'll still tell you, I did a show, and it was not through KO Comedy. I was literally performing for like ones and zeros. This was like, I think it was something where it was like a benefit for it was a happy hour for Paws, the pets organization.
Oh, nice.
And so, like, they just were like, no, we don't want the audience to be drunk and disturb you, so we're going to mute all of them. I'm like, no, that's going to feel like we're remember that meme of like Will Smith in an empty room? It's going to be like that times 1,000, all right? Like, we don't need that, all right? Like, that's literally like me performing on the street right now to nobody. Like this street is insanely empty to the point that people are now walking away. Like, I'm clearing the street, like it's a radius monster or something. It's like empty. There's one dude here, but he might actually be talking to himself. I just look like I am talking to myself. I mean, that's the big thing. It's like, it's not just like, I'm a handsome white guy, Chad Michael Murray, talking sweet nothings into my phone to Delilah from OnlyFans. It's not just me. No. It's literally me. I look like, Tim Dale from Soundgarden with vision problems. Like if Charles Manson was in a Bollywood remake, it would be this. Him screaming into a phone, wanting to turmeric powder his victims. Like, it's too much. It's a lot. We don't need that. So, I'm gonna break kayfabe. Microphone etiquette on Zoom varies. Thank you, Christopher, for that. Wait, is that Chris Grivas or is that a different Christopher? Who is
that's the other one? He doesn't. I don't use his full name because he doesn't use it. But Chris T.
Chris T. Is Grivas still on, or he
had a bow?
He dipped out. Yeah. Well, Christopher T. I should say. Microphones do vary on Zoom, and that's important because if everybody's microphone would be the same, that would be monotonous. And there's too much of that in comedy. We need more diversity in comedy, and not of racial diversity. We need diversity of microphones. That was actually a big letter writing campaign on X. Everybody was complaining to Elon Musk about it. Everybody was calling their congressman. I called my comptroller. Well, first I called my comptroller and I said, I don't know what a comptroller is. Can somebody help me? And he didn't bother telling me what he does. So if you know what a comptroller does, please sound off in the chats because I need some help. I need some help some things in my life, all right? Like this suitcase, which I think you guys have not seen. So here it is. This is a pretty good suitcase, but here's what happens. I overload the suitcase and it falls over. And when I ordered it, it said no fall over suitcase, which I thought was weird to put that like in the description of the suitcase before I even knew that it fell over. It's kind of like when somebody's like, I didn't do anything. It's like I wasn't even asking you what you did. Like the suitcase is being a little too guilty, even though it didn't fucking do anything. So if someone would like to tell me what Rockwood Suitcases CEO's number is, because I believe in all of you can tell me about the Rockwood CEO suitcase. Sound off in the chat. You are only allowed now for the remainder of the show to sound off in the chats about if you know the CEO of Rockwood Suitcases or if you know what a comptroller is. Those are the two things. Otherwise, you are not allowed to sound off in the chats. I am taking over the comments, and I guess I have co-hosting or co-producing power. I can move people from the show too. So there's a lot of graffiti and street art where I am. I'm now in the stairwell of the comedy bar, and I'm going to be here for a few more minutes. But I will say before we start to wrap up here, this show that we do here, this comedy thing that we're all about, people say, Pratik, what would you do if you didn't have this? And I would say, if I had something else to do, it would be. So, if I had something else to do, it is that man who just walked by. He was wearing socks with sandals. Yeah. So. Now, this might be a point in the show where I would roast him for wearing socks with sandals. But here's the sad truth. I wear socks with sandals too, motherfuckers. All right. I'm about that life. This was literally like two Crips on the street nodding at each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's a wild fucking time, right? We got socks with sandals. We got Uber drivers. We got people in the car that are just like, I don't know what I'm doing. That person was not wearing socks with sandals. They were wearing Crocs. That I don't like. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Crocs are the Uncrustables of footwear. You know what I'm saying, everybody? Good callback. All right, now. Is the silhouette? Is the lighting work now? Good. All right. We'll do two things and we'll wrap this puppy up. I think it's great that we're out and about again. We're traveling. We get to do things. We need to live life, because we're not shit, bro. Good to see you. Thank you. I have no idea who. I have no idea who that is, everyone. That is comedy 101. Is you say good to see you, bud. Good to see you, chief. I think this is our thing. My name is Pratik Philosopher. No one's remembering my name. So I just kind of go, hey, bud, hey, chief, to everyone. I legit do not know who that is. But they could run a show. It could be important. So you gotta play the game. See, I'm giving you comedy. You're getting things that you're not gonna get this on any other. Like you're truly getting behind the scenes, all rolled into one. Because I think there's an open mic happening too. So you're gonna see everyone show up. But I just it's such a thing. I think question mark is learning something here. I know Judah does Q&A. You're getting A&A. You're getting answers on top of answers, motherfucker. All right, you're getting a life seminar. You know what's going on here. Now, I will wrap up with this. I finally got a primary care doctor. Yay, make some noise. Yeah, primary care doctor. Yay, hooray. And I just think it's great that I have a white male doctor. I got an old white guy doctor, and I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm okay with that. Like, don't you get like family hookups from your brown relatives that are doctors? No, they don't hook me up with anything. All right. I had a brown doctor, and you know what he did? He literally told me, hey, I complained about like lower back pain, and he said to walk it off. Like that is not medical. I could have decided to walk it off. Right? That's terrible. Walk it off. Oh, good to see you. Yeah. Like the other person I said good to see you 10 minutes ago. That I didn't. I know that. But yeah, if you're a doctor and you're telling me to walk it off, I don't trust you. And I told that Indian doctor who told me to walk it off, I told him go back and work your job at Dunkin' Donuts. That's what I did. Yeah, hell yeah. Zach List, everybody. You went to the fun show in Chicago on Fridays. First Friday. That's a good deal. I literally said, what's up to 3 people that I didn't know, and I told them I knew. But this guy, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Back to the joke I was telling, that funny joke. Yeah. Yeah. I told my Indian doctor, hey, your medical expertise is terrible. You need to go back to running that Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah. You might be saying, Pratik, that's very offensive. How dare you assume that he worked at Dunkin' Donuts? But guess what? This guy actually worked at Dunkin' Donuts, right? So it's not racist. Yeah. I'm okay to say that. And also, side note, because there's so much out there about Indian stereotypes, I wish we had other stereotypes. Why? Like Jewish people's stereotype is they get to control the media. Amazon controlling Motel 6. That's not cool. That's not fun. I would rather control the media than my people running Dunkin' Donuts, because we've kind of ruined Dunkin' Donuts, all right? Like, I wish we could look up to Dunkin' Donuts the way Canadians look up to Tim Hortons. Like, we don't have that. We have Dunkin' Donuts that charges $3.99 for a piece of avocado toast, and the picture shows 2 pieces. I'm not getting 2 pieces. I'm getting a soggy piece of bread that has Oscar the Grouch's jism. All right, it's fucking terrible. Right. So, and good luck trying to use the bathroom at a Dunkin' Donuts run by a brown dude. They're gonna ask you to like steal the Declaration of Independence with Nicolas Cage. They're not opening that bathroom door for nothing. You could have an emergency. You could be bleeding. Nothing's going. They're not opening shit. All right. So yeah, it's a whole thing. You know, I don't appreciate brown dudes who run Dunkin' Donuts. I think these people they're cool. They're fine. Were you guys at the show? Yes. Cool. You're getting a second show here. You're getting 2 for the price of 1. Imagine that. I got a real audience member finally at this show.
Prove it.
Prove it. You just saw. Did you not? Look at this person who just said prove it. You got to be paying attention. All right. I'm not responsible for your lack of attention on this show. Who was that? Was it I know that wasn't Jinda, because Jinda does a little AI animation thing now, which I miss Jinda, who was eating noodles. I preferred Jinda eating noodles. I don't know what Jinda is doing now, but I don't trust that at all. It's a whole fucking No, but I will leave you with this. I do have a doctor that is a white man, and he's a good white man doctor. I appreciate white men doctors. He's also older too, so he doesn't have time to. I got to worry about selling, this new pill that the pharmacy rep named Tanner sold me about, because I don't give a fuck about what Tanner is selling in the pharmacy. All I care is the only Tanners I care about are Tanners that have free Pulaska access to their condo that they're not even paying for. That's the only Tanners I want. If you do not pay for a pool, I am accessing your pool. That's all I ask. Okay? That's all I ask. I am pro doctor. I teach my doctor sometimes. That's cool. I'm also friends with my doctor's son. He has come to see me perform at this very club. That's cool too. It is weird though, sitting with a guy whose doctor dad has touched my balls, because he will say things like, my dad touched your nuts. And I go, yeah, and I had to pay him for that. So who's really winning that fucking battle? Sam. His name's Steph. He does Second City Improv. It's fine. He tries to zip zap zop me, and I tell him no. I know but him all the time, you guys. Okay. All right, I'll leave you with this. We got to wrap this up. Kamala Harris. I know I got in trouble last week on this show for saying Kamala, which I think is hilarious when white people correct me on Indian people names. Like, get the fuck out of here, right? That ain't fucking happening anymore, all right? I am a fan of her. I know in the Indian community, they call her an auntie, which I didn't understand. But then last week while I was eating dinner, she asked me for money, and I'm like, oh, you are exactly like my auntie. So, you are exactly. Wow, though. You replaced Joe Biden, which I got to say, did y'all make some noise if you liked how Joe Biden exited the race?
Yeah.
With COVID.
I liked it. I was a fan of how Joe Biden exited the race, because that's the exact way that I leave parties. I leave the exact same way he does. Yeah. I will stay for 1 hour. I will talk copious amounts of shit. I will say something stupid, and then I will just leave the party. Yeah. And I won't leave for me. I'll say I'm leaving for the good of the party. And then I'll try to ride my bike, but as soon as I step on that fucking bike, I fall off immediately. Whoa. Like, whoa. And then my beard gets caught in the spokes, and it's a whole fucking thing, you guys. Yeah. All right, I think I'm going to have to get on my bike and bike out of here. Or actually, no, I do want to go upstairs, so I'm going to take my bike, and I'm going to try to bicycle up these stairs. Like, what am I, Dave Mira? What is BMX or something? We'll see. So anyways, hey, to Chirping Birds, to the Chirpers, to the KO Comedy, to the Mark Anthonys, to the Mark Hornbecks, to the well-hung Hungarians, to the world champions, to the vice presidents, to the presidents, to the Q&Ers, to the shut-ins, to the not shut-ins, to the Jindas, to the noodle eaters, whoever's out there, to the Uncrustables, I say to you, thank you, and keep supporting KO Comedy and Chirping Bird Comedy. And I literally am about to pull my back, and I don't want to hurt my back again. So I will see you next time, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, one more time for Pratik. That I will say, well, that is definitely a set to remember. I took some pictures of it. Pratik's probably going to want some of the video from that. So
everything.
It had everything. It had buses, it had Ubers, it had staircases outside of a comedy bar,
Someday we'll
which
talk about
is
that.
next to the Geno's East in Chicago. I should probably start plugging shows at Comedy Bar instead of Lincoln Lodge. That's probably what I would have put probably $100 on that he was going to Lincoln Lodge, and he didn't end up going there. So it was really confusing to me too. I'm sorry, everybody, but you all got to see how close the Comedy Bar is to the Greyhound station. So if you do take a Greyhound to Chicago, you can see it's just a very short Uber ride. No, it was very fun. I know Judah couldn't be here this week. He was doing a live show tonight. But I'm pretty sure he'll be here next week because he said he wanted to be here next week. So he'll be here next week. Get your questions in. So many things are changing so quickly in the world. You should have about 40 questions saved up. I know I got a few. But thanks for coming out tonight. Thanks, Desiree Walsh. Thank you, Chris Skriva, Pratik Srivastava, and everybody that joined and left and watching on all the channels, watching on Twitch themselves and watching over on YouTube too. Thank you all for tuning in. See you all next week. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.